We back up in this bitch.
If they wanted to take it outside in the parking lot, the ex-wife and her homegirl would have been well within her right to put a little beat down on the mistress.
Oh my
Boom.
God, I just want to get on this mic and talk to my girl.
We still got some fucking ninjas out here that don't know no
Hmm.
better.
How dare you? You think that it's appropriate to take a woman, a young woman who is still a minor, and put her in front of the congregation to apologize?
Him, he just a ninja. I mean, he was cheating from the door. She said it. He didn't give a shit about nobody but himself.
We might find out some shit tomorrow that we had no idea. So I'm just gonna sit and wait.
Listen, something don't smell right to me, but I'm going to mind my business. But I'm not because I want to know what y'all think.
So stop acting like, oh, we're not taking handouts. Bitch, you are a handout. You taking our money.
Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Three Aunties and a Mic, the podcast about grown folks ish. I am your girl, V with the T. I have with me Weekday with the everyday drama and Miss Bookworm with the read. What's up, ladies?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, 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 hey. Happy spring. And happy April. It's the bitch birthday month. As as soon as those Aries get the hell out the way, then then we can talk about it.
What'd you say? Step aside. Step aside.
Pretty much. Let the bulls in.
Yes, it's almost time for April, and then right after yours, Weekday is pulling up the rear of the Taurus season.
That's right. That's
Hmm.
I am.
Yes.
Coming towards the end of it.
I started,
So,
she'll finish it.
Yes,
yep.
I will. Definitely will do that.
um. What's going on? What y'all been up to this week?
It's been pretty. It's been a pretty even kill week. You just sit around and you just think to yourself, the audacity of people, the nerve of people. But then you go back and you say, you know what? I'm working on myself, so I can't like just jump in there, all full hearted and ready to take somebody out because you be wanting to chop necks.
Look
But
at therapy working.
therapy is working a little bit better. It's
See?
working a little bit better. We went to see Mary J. Blige. That was great. I thought I was
Oh,
gonna
how
have a
was
moment
that?
there. Um, but I just kind of said, let security handle it. That's what their job is here to do. Um, and it's not my job to, monitor the ignorance of people not understanding when you pay for front row seats. Uh, that's who should be at the front row, not you bum rushing and thinking that you should get the privilege of standing up there near the stage. Pay for those seats. That's what people pay for. So, but it was great.
Bookworm is putting her head down because you know how we do.
Nah, nah, that was a
Wait a minute.
problem.
Remember at Essence
Bookworm will find
Festival?
her way to the front of that stage each and every time. You hear me?
At the Essence Festival, I ran to the stage when LL came out. And honey, I don't know how many times security, he had just had it with me because I kept trying to slide the gate and slide on over here. He was like, "You lucky I don't send you back where you came from." But yeah, I might be one of those. Depends on
Yeah.
who's performing.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't the one that said anything. It was a gentleman that he was upset that his 8.5 by 11 was not being able to see it. And so yeah,
I'm
he was
slipping
upset
on the
about
crocs.
that. And
Hold, please.
we'll hold.
I can't with the two of y'all. Every week, I could not with the two of y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, his 8.5 by 11 couldn't see, and honey, he asked for everybody to be, if they ain't showing tickets to say they were in the front seats, then they got to go.
There you
I was like, I
go.
don't know who the hell he was, but
Yeah,
he
you
cleared
can't do
that.
that anymore.
Yeah, he cleared the house. I mean, we were at Atlantic City. Atlantic City has the worst acoustics. I don't know why people go to Boardwalk Hall. It
And she
sucks
goes
in
every
terms of sound.
time. Every tour,
And I
every
was
time.
and
That
I
is
was
where
so
she'll
mad. I was
go.
like, you know what? I would have paid for a box seat in Philly
Yeah,
instead of paying for that because that was just like at least I would have got some snacks or something.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the show was good. I saw Mario. Mario was there, and then we'll lead into the other person that was there because he's part of the conversation later on. I'm sure.
Oh, Marvin Sapp.
No, not Marvin Sapp. It was Neo. It was
Neo,
Neo.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
because we're
yeah,
gonna talk about this poly lifestyle here in a few minutes. But
yeah.
Child.
before we get
Mm-mm.
into that, Miss Bookworm, you got anything you want to share?
I'm just, you know what? I looked up and it was our day to record. Everything is, oh gosh,
I'm
it's just
sure.
moving so
Mm,
fast. A lot going on, but I'm just happy spring is here. My mood will be changing. Yeah, I'll be spending. Well, you know what? I don't miss being outdoors because I stay outdoor 365. I go outside. I don't care the weather conditions, how cold it is. I am outside at 5:30 in the morning, and I am outside again about 9 o'clock at night, having hot tea at night, some coffee in the morning. I love outdoors. So just that just the fact that I'm going to be now going outdoors with less clothes on and less outerwear on feels so good. So
I'm sure.
I'm just excited.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been busy for me too. I didn't realize it was our recording day. I'm like, wait, what day is it? Like
Hmm.
it's been a good week, but it's been a busy week.
Yeah,
So
yes. Very
yeah,
busy.
yeah. So speaking of Marvin Sapp, since somebody brought him up,
Ah,
Lock the
let's talk about
doors.
let's talk about this. Yo, first of all, his explanation made no freaking sense. We've been going to black churches all our lives where they've been collecting lots of money all our lives, and ain't nobody had to close no doors so the security can manage things. I mean, what y'all think this is? This the church. Like, this ain't the trap house? I'm confused.
Yeah, he was acting like gangbangers were gonna come through the door to take that 40,000. I
But
mean, but
that's not but that's a lie. We all know that's a lie.
I
You
we know.
literally was trying to you wanted them people to feel like they
Mm,
had to give. Like,
mm.
you didn't want
yo,
You
what
would
anyone to leave. You didn't want
you
anyone to leave before giving.
that's
Point
right.
blank.
You were
That's
putting
it.
those people
That
on
was
the
it.
spot. Like, oh, you ain't got $20. You know how the people do be like, oh, you ain't got it. You ain't got it. Well, goddamn it, I ain't got it. Don't you live in this country too? Because I know I live in U.S. The USA of embarrassment, right? United States of embarrassment. So I know I ain't got it. I ain't got 20 to give you. $20. Remember back in the day, $20 would get you a loaf of bread, some
Would
meat,
fill up my
something like
tank.
that. Shit, it would fill up your tank. Amen. $20 today, brother. I ain't got it. I barely could get a pack of meat, some bread, a salad, and some ice cream for $20. Are you serious? That's food going into my house. And then he had the nerve to say, if you don't have cash, you can tap. Oh, I was done. You can tap.
That
told
Negro.
the told the
that
deacons
bothers
and
me.
them said y'all paid to y'all
Y'all gotta
got here
pay to sit up here.
y'all gotta
Yeah.
pay
Hey,
this.
let's get up here. And so
It's
y'all gonna give
$100 for
It
$100 for
y'all.
y'all.
costs. That's what it said. That's what he
So,
said.
so,
I'm sorry, I misquoted
uh,
him.
yeah.
It costs to
All
sit up
20
here.
up here. Yeah.
It
Mm.
costs. Okay. All right.
I know studio time costs money, but we had not told you, Marvin Sapp, that you should get into the R&B world anyway. So I don't know. There must have been a misunderstanding there, but we can't pay for your studio time, right? I mean, you can't take that from the church coffers. You got to find somewhere else. I want to know how many people you're gonna feed, Marvin Sapp, since they're cutting SNAP benefits. How many
Did
people
he
your
say
church is
what the
gonna
money was
feed?
going to? Did he
Nobody.
ever say what the
No, nobody knows
40,000?
what this
He
money was
just
going
said
to.
because I know it was an old video. I know it was either from last year or 2023. I can't remember. I know it
Yeah.
was an old video that resurfaced, but it wasn't that old. And he was
No, it
at a
wasn't.
convention or a
Yeah.
conference or
Yeah,
what
he's at
have
an
you.
international church convention or something. Yeah.
What is
I
that about?
I listen, all I know is that at the end of the day, we got people to feed. We got people that can't get their medication. So I and somebody said something that I really, but you guys know how I feel about the church. I always think it's a business. The church is a
It
business
is.
because tithing has nothing to do with what's in my pocket. It's in my heart.
Mhm.
It's what I could do. I can work off my tithe. I can give, I can volunteer for my tithe. Why does my
Mhm.
tithing have to do with 10% of what the damn I make? I can barely give up that 10% because I ain't getting but a 1% raise every year. I
How
can't give
about
it to
that?
you, right? So at the end of the day, if you ask me to come and feed some folks, yes, that can be part of my tithing because I can come and I can help feed some folks. I can help with things like that. We not only because we always talk about food as a purpose of why, because we got to feed the children and so forth. But let's talk about the medication. We got to worry about our elderly folks that are not getting their meds. What are we doing for that? How are we helping fund those situations? How are we contacting these big pharmas and saying, hey, my grandma's 70 years old and she can't get her medication because she can't afford that $2,000 a month. Do y'all have any other way that we can supplement this? What can we do? So, Marvin, even though it was 2 or 3 years ago, times weren't good then. We
Not
were
at
still back.
all.
Not all. Inflation has been up this whole time since 2020. So I mean, I just want to understand, even though it might be an old one that resurfaced, you should be totally embarrassed that you are locking doors.
And he's not. He's not embarrassed at
No.
all. And that's
Mm-mm,
the problem with all of this.
mm-mm,
His rebuttal and his comeback from all of the backlash. No, Marvin, it was the way you did it. You
mm-mm,
were telling them to close the doors. That is. You were right, weekday. That is embarrassing. What if I needed to leave and it was a night conference
yeah.
and relieve the babysitter?
Yeah.
What if, I a former church of mine had a conference and they were bringing pastors in, and there was a pastor from a mega church in California, and I remember, and I'm talking years and years ago, because I had my paycheck in my purse and I wasn't able to go to the bank and cash my check yet, and I didn't have any cash on me. No, when they do that second offering. So I
Mm-hmm,
had gave the last of the cash that I actually had in the initial offering. And now he was taking up another offering at the end. And I remember feeling, the feeling was just, it wasn't embarrassment and it wasn't shame, but it was a feeling that I did not like. He
mm-hmm,
said that, so I had change. I had about, let's say for the sake of argument, $3 or $4 worth of change for whatever reason. So I said, oh, I'll just take that up there. And he said, it was as if he saw me digging out this change and put, I want the kind of money that folds and not makes
yeah. It's
noise.
noise. Yep. Not jingle.
And I shrunk. I did. I shrunk right there and I was like, how dare he? And I just remember that feeling. So they really need to be mindful, these, especially these mega pastors of these mega
Mm-hmm,
churches, and how they have a huge following, and how they can make someone feel when it comes
mm-hmm,
time to give. Like, close the doors and $20, and oh, you could tap, or it costs to sit up here and wanted $100 from them. I
mm-hmm,
just I don't like it. I don't like it. I started not liking, this is again my former church, when at conferences they would start running and throwing money on the stairs and on the stage, running up to the altar placing money. That always made me feel uncomfortable, because maybe this the word was really moving and it really touched me and it really really spoke to me, but I don't have anything to bless that word with on the altar or whatever that means. But that makes someone like me feel very very small, and it just does. It does. It did back then. It wouldn't bother me now because fuck them. But you know, it's not right. It's not right, Marvin. It's just not right. The way you went about it, your tone with the
Mm-hmm.
ushers, your tone with the congregation, your tone with the clergy in back of you. Nah, no, 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 no,
Let
no,
me help
no.
y'all
Whether
out.
it was no,
God
it's just
listens to
not
your
cool.
prayers, and no matter where you at. Okay, number one, God listens to your prayers no matter where you at. Number two, it's $20 to buy a King James Bible. Let's get started with that. Okay, get you a Bible. Read the Bible. To me, I just think it takes a lot of nerve that every time we turn around, somebody's talking about the building fund. What the hell you building for me? Because I like to know what you're building for my family, for my legacy. I like to know that. Or, we're taking tithings and offering because God knows, cheerful giver. Guess what? I'm always cheerful, but I'm not cheerful when I'm separating me and my money without some valid reason. I'm just going to be
Are
honest
you
with you
going to come?
guys.
Are you going to come see about me when I'm sick?
That's right.
Or
Like I
are
said,
you going to, do I have to pay to bury my loved one?
yeah. Are you going to disgrace
You,
me because I
you
lost my
know?
job and I barely can pay my rent? Are you going to bring up help me pay an electric bill or gas bill when my times are down? When I done tithed all these years with you and gave you what I had because I had it to give. I'm just saying, I'm not asking for the church for a handout, but you know what I say about handouts. Okay, y'all hear in the very beginning of this podcast how I feel about handouts. Everybody's taking a handout. And for me to throw out some money to you, because in reality, what I know is what we call begging. And that's all I hear is begging.
Ciao.
That's my commentary.
Shout out to my church right about now. I love my church now. So that was
That's
all
great.
in
Yes.
my former church, but I
Yeah, I
love the church
definitely,
that
and I
I
think
attend
the
now.
former church you're talking about is the same one I had an
Yes,
issue
it
with,
is. Yeah,
where
it
I
is.
was pregnant and I got
Hmm.
up to go use the bathroom, and he called me out in the middle of his sermon and was like, "Where are you going? We ain't done yet." And I was leaving by myself. I looked back at my husband and my other kid and was like, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Hmm.
I was just gonna go use the. I was pregnant. I was gonna go use the bathroom. I couldn't hold my bladder. But since you want to call me out like that, come
Everybody
on,
leaving.
family. We out of here.
And since we're on the offering part, let me say this because I have experienced, several times being from this former church. When I initially joined that church, it was very small. It grew, and I mean, in a small amount of time, it really really grew. But I was there when it was a little building, and it was just 2 to 3 services a day. But anywho, my husband and I started dating when I was going to that church, and I remember bringing him, and I remember the pastor started, for since we had moved into the bigger church, his offering and the way he was saying things, and he started referring to what the light bill was or what the whatever bill was. And my husband was sitting next to me, and I'll tell you, we wasn't going there much longer after that, and we weren't even married then. But my husband don't get down when you telling him what he has to get. No, he's not
Mm-mm.
doing that. But not only that, the ATMs started showing up. And then when
Oh,
there was a
mm-mm.
offering at the end, when you're getting towards the end of service, the ushers then used to have the offering baskets by the door. So if you needed to leave before the last offering, they were going to make sure you can drop your basket, you can drop it in before we take it around, so it was there. So I'm like, well, I did have to leave for whatever reason, and that's how I know that. I was like, And they were like, "Oh, you can leave the second offer." And I said, "I can, but I won't." Uh, what are you doing here? If I'm leaving before this part of the service and I wanted, I would have left it with the person next to me, sitting
Right.
next to me. Hey, can you put this? Because back then it used to happen all the time when people would leave. Hey, can you put this in the basket for me? Absolutely. So yeah, that's
Mm-mm.
like I said before,
Listen,
not cool, Marvin. Not
not
cool.
cool. So before we get into this poly discussion, let's give a shout out to Cory Booker.
My
That's it.
senator, my senator, my senator.
Corey,
Jersey strong, Jersey strong, Jersey
25
strong.
I
hour
still got my picture of me and
filibuster.
you on the USS. Come on, Corey.
Jersey
Yes,
strong.
Jersey Strong, baby. Corey.
Yes. I mean, listen, something has to be done, and
Yeah.
those that are in office are responsible for doing what needs to be done. Um,
Yes.
he is not the only one getting those letters.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
All of them need to step up and do what's right.
Mm-mm. That's right.
And there's no way we're gonna be able to go 4 years like this because these American people, as people continue to lose their jobs and stuff, they're not going for it. Because even though there are some true Trump supporters, some diehard Republicans, at the end of the day, that green money is what matters to everybody
Mm-hmm.
here in the
Mm-hmm.
United States. It ain't about red or blue, it's about green.
Mm-mm. Yep.
And when you are messing with people's money and people's livelihood,
Mm.
they will jump ship quick and they gonna
Yep.
tear down some doors
That's
and they
right.
gonna do some screaming. And there's no way we can keep going like this for 4 years.
No. Mm-mm.
Um, because
Toss the
they're
key
already
over the
sick of
boat.
it.
Yeah. I mean, but that this is the people's vote,
They're already sick of
right?
it. Hmm.
The people voted for him, and I'm not saying all of our people, but the people voted for him. If you want him out, you need to handle
Yeah.
this. The people, and the people know who
Get
they
him
are.
out.
They
Yeah.
know. They didn't think. They thought that somewhere along the way somebody was going to read through their applications or whatever and said, "Oh, that's right, they're white, and that's right, they're Republican." Nobody cared anything about you, and I keep trying that y'all miss what this was about. This was not to make it all white again. It was going to be two classes, the poor and the rich. Decide where you want to
Yep.
be at. And middle class was going to go away. We've been saying this for years, and that's what they're doing. I have to tell you guys, and I don't want to talk politics that much today, but
We're not gonna do
I
that.
I will say that I forget what state it is. Florida. Florida put out a bill saying that 15 and 16-year-olds should be able to work any shift.
And 14 year
14.
olds.
And 14
14.
years, yeah, and 14-year-olds.
14. My daughter
And
is 14. She can't do nothing more but walk a dog and maybe babysit a 3-year-old.
And they talking
but
about working overnight shifts and they gotta
yeah,
There's
go to
no way.
school and
No.
and this and they keep talking about bringing these jobs back to the U.S. You know what jobs they were? They were manufacturing jobs. They were jobs that weren't paying a lot of money. You didn't say bring back the IT jobs because there's a lot of them overseas too. They're not bringing them back. They're talking about these manufacturing jobs, which weren't paying that much, non-union manufacturing jobs.
Ooh.
So yeah, and they just want these 14-year-olds and these young people out on those farms because now they're shipping the people away, and that's how I'm going
Yeah,
to leave it.
they're
So
gone.
the American people, this is your job. We're going to fall back and we're going to do a little bit of relaxing and watch what you do because this is you. This is on you.
I'm proud of Cory Booker. I'm proud how he stood up. I'm proud that and let's send a shout out to his team that
Yep.
put together that binder, all of that information, tons of
Mm,
time and effort went into this and research, and he had it right on the ball. How he prepped, how he fasted, how he
he
stopped
fasted for
eating
3 days.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, he stopped eating Saturday night and stopped
y'all know
drinking
that brother had on
Sunday.
a depend.
Yeah,
Y'all know
right.
he
Whatever it
did.
100%.
was,
Y'all know he
Yeah.
did.
whatever
Listen,
it
I'm just messing, but seriously, like him fasting and him preparing
Yeah.
for it the way he
that
did,
was
like
so,
kudos to him.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
y'all know that brother
yeah.
had to depend on.
Yeah.
But you know what? It brought attention, and maybe that was
Mm,
the attention because the information he gave that entire 25 hours,
Hours.
that
Ooh,
was things that maybe the common American did not know.
no. Mm-hmm.
And so it was educating. It was his team did the research. It enlightened some people. It
Mm-hmm.
woke some people up. It got some information out there. So let's start seeing this kind of thing. It's all cute that y'all wear pink and all of that, but that's not really ruffling any feathers. Let's do something, and I give it to that brother. He is a
Yeah, because no
thoroughly
business was done on
produced.
the Senate. No business was
No,
done on the Senate floor.
nope,
That
nope.
that he stopped any business on the Senate floor from happening.
Yep,
So,
yep.
and I will tell you, the House of Representatives, they didn't get to pass shit either, because 10 Republicans went over and started swaying towards the
Yep,
Democrats. This is
yep.
the thing that we want to continue to see, is that when
Hmm.
he talked his talk, those constituents, you, the people, we, the people, are out there in their necks, and we need to continue to keep our foot in their necks.
And someone,
Hmm.
made a good point. I forgot who it was that had done something, had done a filibuster or whatever, and he had read the green eggs and ham or something like that. Like
Oh yeah, and,
Cory,
and the
right?
phone
But
book.
Cory,
Yeah,
right? But Cory Booker really took this time to talk about what mattered, and
yep.
people were tuning in. There was a lot of
Yeah,
people that I was reading about. They were
yes.
tuned in. They wanted
Yeah,
to hear
a
what he
lot.
had to say,
Yeah, I
and
mean, it was
because he
billions of
wasn't,
people.
because he was talking about, he did his research, like you said, the binder,
Real
like
Yeah,
stuff.
that
Real
team
stuff.
did what they were supposed to do. They did what they were elected to do.
because
And
Sean
I'm like,
Thurman is who he beat. This is Sean. Was it
Yeah.
Sean Thurman? Who was the
Strom
racist?
Thurmond. Yes.
Thurman. Yeah,
Hmm.
he was the racist that didn't want civil rights, and he stayed on it. He was the one that stayed that bullshit, green eggs and ham and bullshit.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, Corey, 300. They said 300 million people. So you're not.
Hmm.
That's not everybody in the United States was listening to him. All across the country in the world was listening to him on his TikTok live.
Hmm. Hmm.
Kudos to him, and I'll say
Hmm.
this,
Hmm.
Corey.
Yep.
all right, so let's get into a
And
topic I've been trying to talk about for a couple of weeks, but with all the stuff going on in the
how
world, we
about
never
that?
get to. But it had, Neo had came up a couple, I don't know, about a month ago now. And AJ Johnson, the actress,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they both have similar lifestyles.
Hmm.
Um, and I was reading this, well, not reading something, it was a reel on Facebook the other day about this woman whose husband is cheating on her. So she said, why don't you just have a woman move in with us? Cause shit, I don't really want to fuck you no way. So that way she can handle that part. She can help me out with the with the household chores. And it's a win-win for me. You ain't got to be out there creeping. I ain't got to be out here fucking you. And I got some help around here.
Woo.
And I was like, I was like, we really need to talk about this subject because for Neo, he's like, I don't have to lie anymore. This is who I am. Either you down with it or you not. But I'm tired of lying. I'm tired of being sneaky. I'm tired of, like, I can't love one woman. I can't just be with one woman. So either you gonna be cool with it or you ain't the woman for me. And then AJ Johnson, her thing is, I kind of get down with what she's saying. It's not that she's necessarily living with all these different men, but she's pretty much like, I'm not a monogamous dater. I got this man over here that's giving me, the trips and he likes to travel. I got this man over here that's giving me the intellect I need. This guy over here, doing me right in the bedroom. Whatever it is, like she's getting what she needs as her perfect man from various men. And she good with that. So my question to you ladies is like, would you live a polygamous lifestyle? You know, do you see some pros in it? I used to watch that movie, not that movie, that series where they were trying to find their next mate. So they were already in a polygamous relationship. It's a reality show.
Oh,
And
okay.
and they were trying to find their next wife, like their next sister wife. And so it was like you could see them going on their different dates, and you could see how some of these women would get jealous, and they've been in this relationship with this person for a long time, and they may have already had another sister wife, but it's like, why are you bringing on this other person? Why aren't we enough? And so there's definitely going to be some jealousy that happens. And you see more men doing it than women, but there are a lot of women that are doing it as well. So,
Right,
and
right, right.
some, from what I understand, some of them, you know, there's some threesomes going on, but for the most part, it's the man and he just is with the different women, but the women aren't with each other, you know. So, what's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on a polygamous relationship? Would you be in a polygamous relationship weekday?
Hell no, I've been in them. And to me, they just call overrated cheating bullshit.
That's
Let's
it.
just call it what it is. I've been in them motherfuckers. I know what they like. It's just
I'm
saying. I
talking
mean,
about
you
intentionally being in a
never.
polygamous
I'm gonna be
relationship.
honest with you. I would date. Like I'm gonna tell you the truth. Having all
Yeah.
those people around, somebody wants something from you. Okay, and I'm at the point, where I've done that and given 150% this to one person, and now I can't think about breaking it down to 3 or 4 people saying, "Well, how much percentage I'm gonna give?" Right now, I'm in my life where you're getting 50% of me. You need to come and meet me with the other 50%. Now, if you're not ready to do that, then that's fine, but I've been in those relationships, not willingly. So, I mean, that's what if everybody wants to get my feelings on this, this is just overrated cheating in a sense. But now you're trying to put a cute name on it to say, "Oh, no, it sounds good." Now the young lady, I did see that video a couple of times. I saw it like 2 weeks ago, and I've heard people say that before. Like, listen, if you want to just do the sex part with him, and I just continue to feed and clothe the kids and keep them clean, then I don't want to have to do all those
Mm-mm,
activities
mm-mm.
and do the sex with him. My opinion is that when you willingly get into this type of, because let's separate these wordings, because we
Mm.
people have a bad sense of saying this. There's a difference between a marriage and a relationship, people. I want y'all to fully understand that. And I've never been married before, but I can tell you there's a big difference between you saying I'm in a relationship and I'm in a marriage. All right. And so in a relationship, yeah, you don't have really any dedication. Nobody's really dedicated to you. So this is why these women start fighting these other women. Listen, that other woman never promised you shit. You need to go back to the source. And everybody keeps coming back to who? The man. The man is the
Yup.
source. Okay. He want to spread it to everybody. We talked about Dick Khan last week, right? He wants to be the community dick because
Mm.
really, what is he bringing to those other relationships? Now, I've heard in the Muslim religion, yeah, they can have as many wives as they want to, with the understanding that they are to take care of all of them equally. It's a big difference when you're talking about somebody that's saying, and I'm not
But
saying I agree with it
a lot
religiously.
of a lot of polygamous relationships, like the Sister Wives show that I used to watch, they
Mhm.
take care of all of those women. Those women do not work. They are well
Exactly.
taken care of.
He would,
So
but
so
he
there's
could
so
afford
there's
to.
different yeah,
But
there's
JoJo on
different
the street can't take afford to take care of him, because guess what? JoJo on the street don't want to take care of the 6 or 7 kids he's having by all these different women. I mean, this is why I'm just trying to be honest, guys. Let's stop trying to fantasize this, because we're everyday damn people, right? Neil, yes, he was at the show, and the one girl that is now part of the harem, she was also one of the dancers at the show. So he ain't taking care of all of them
Really?
when she's still fucking working and shaking her ass on the stage. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying he's not, if you're only looking for somebody to give you Gucci, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton, then you have missed the boat here, ladies. Now, I did see this other woman that I wanted to bring to y'all's attention, that she said, if you dating these men, get money. And she's right. If you're dating these men and they're taking you out for dinner, dinner is not enough. You need to be saying, okay, not you sending me $50 for me to eat no damn lunch. That $50 is going to buy me some stock. You need to give me some money. You need to invest in this, right? So I personally dating, yes. I might have somebody on the side that I'm doing. He blowing out my back, so I know the
No.
next guy. Okay, so I know the next guy that I have is the guy that I really is trying to build up to. So I'm telling him the fucking 3 month rule. So everybody's not getting to blow out the back, right? But I might have that one guy that he's my blow out the back guy, right? Until I can get that other guy to the point where he's like, okay, me and her could see somewhere going. I know with the blow out the back guy, he ain't shit but blowing out the back. He blowing out some other bitch's back, and I'm okay with that because we've decided that all we're gonna do is be what, a fling. We're gonna be, hey, let's catch up with each other when we can. The other guy is the guy that I want to be more intentional with because that's the person I'm looking forward to. So we all can keep on these fantasies because AJ, what she's saying is, I bet you that most of them are not black men that she's doing this with, right? Probably not. Not all of them are black,
But
right?
they don't need to know about
And
each
so,
other.
and they don't need to know about each other
That's
because
why I
that's
was
No.
doing that because I'm like, it's not necessarily that they know about each other. I mean,
no.
if
And
But
you
they
I'm
don't
haven't
just
have
saying,
to.
committed to me,
no. But I'm
exclusively
saying,
committed to me,
but it's a difference between with her and Neo. They all know about each other. They all sat at
Hmm.
a table
Yeah.
together. They all got tattoos together last week. They know about each other. So to me, let's figure out and put that line on it because those little cute little words that people want to go around using and saying that's what I do, and it sounds so nice, don't it? It sounds like so romantic, but it ain't nothing romantic about it. There's a big difference between being in a relationship. So if you want to be in a relationship, date as many people as you want. Get in those relationships. They don't need to know about each other. You're correct. But when you're in a marriage, you are saying I'm committing myself to this one person, this one ideal of how this relationship should go. We should be connected in some kind of way. And I'm gonna tell y'all guys because, and I will talk because our letter is going to be something about this too. And I want to explain to everybody is that love is what gets you in trouble because people fall in and out of love so quickly in relationships, right? Because they're banking on the lust and the love. Those are not the answers to building to the point where you're going to get to a marriage. There are more stepping stones than I'm lusting that person, I'm loving that person, because at the end of the day, you got to see it as a bigger building block. Can we work together? Can we be a community together? Can we raise kids together? Can we build a business together? A business of marriage first before we even think about anything outside of that. So for me, you can miss me with all that because personally, I'm just gonna have the brother that blows out my back, and the other brother doesn't have to know that he's the brother that I really want to be with. And so that's how I feel about it.
Um. Okay. Disclaimer. Let me put this out there right now. I got married at age 35. So I dated all of my 20s and up to 33
Mhm.
before I met my husband. So I will say that what Neo is doing, hey, you know what? I like that he brought it to everybody's attention around him. As long if you I am of the if you like it, I love it.
Mhm.
Do you as and he's honest and I give respect for that. He has made the declaration that he is not a one woman man. He doesn't see himself ever. So if he wants all of that and just go on ahead, he has the means for it. So do you, do you? Because what you eat's not going to make me shit. But I'm glad that everyone knows their place and knows their role
Mhm.
because
Exactly.
obviously they're there. Now, AJ, well, no, let me go to the other girl. Did you say she was married and her man was cheating, and so she said,
Mhm.
"Well, bring the woman." So she was
Yeah.
married. No, that doesn't. That does not. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no,
That's
no,
what I'm
no, no, no.
saying.
We. I am old school,
Mhm.
traditional. We got married, and we're going to do this. Either you're going to cheat, or I'm going to cheat. But all of this is not going to happen. And if we have to cheat, then we have a different problem. You
Mhm.
know, if we're going out doing that, that's a whole nother set of problems. But um, So that's a no for me. And I would never ever say, "Come on in and well, if you're going to do this and this." No, 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 no. So I don't
Mm,
agree with that woman at all. AJ, what she's doing is dating. To
that's
me,
it.
that's
Yeah.
that's what she's doing. She's dating. I dated. So I don't see her doing anything other than, like, when they used to bash Lori Harvey, I'm like, I could not understand what she was doing wrong. Because I'm like, okay, well, I dated for a couple of years and then that didn't work. And then I dated someone else, or I dated around until I got like
Hmm.
exclusive for a couple of years. That didn't work out. Then you date around until you find somebody
Hmm.
exclusive, and then that doesn't work. And that's how it is. So I don't understand the Lori Harvey, the the way that society looks at her, or in the industry, and I'm like, what is she supposed to do? Like, that is bonkers to me. So what AJ is doing, I'm all for it, because what she described, I heard the interview straight. She was on the Breakfast Club, so I heard that interview in real time, and I was like, yeah, okay. And she's of that age where she's not married,
Mm,
so she's dating and she's getting the need. And there's another thing, as you can have, I'm all for the, now that I'm married, my platonic friends, um, I don't have the conversations I used to have with them. And like, if one got married, my husband and I went to that wedding, things like that. So I'm all for the platonic friends and things of that nature. But I had that. I had the one that you would go to the movies with or whatever. Then you might have had a friend with
mhm,
benefits. Then you might have had the, oh, we going
mhm.
to the bar, and come what may, whatever. So I mean, nah, I'm not. Neo, do your thing, and whoever else wants to follow suit, if you have the means for that. Now I know that man upstairs. He don't have the means for that. It's five of us. He won't even let us get a dog because that's another mouth to feed.
That's right.
So I think I'm a little bit safe there. I think, but you never know. You never know.
Mm-mm.
But I digress. I'm with AJ all day, all day.
Yeah, for me personally, it's I think I feel like you, Miss Bookworm. If you like it, I love it. What you do is your business. Um, I'm not all about no polygamy, and I just
Uh-uh.
it don't make no sense to me. Y'all checking y'all pH balance, and you having sex with
Ugh.
him today and tomorrow,
Mm-mm.
and then this is your day on Wednesday.
And I'm a
It's
jealous bitch. I'm
I
a
am
jealous
too.
one.
Girl, I'm a true
girl.
Taurus.
I'm not
I'm a
sharing. I'm
true Taurus.
not
I'm
sharing.
not sharing. Listen, I'm
Listen,
girl,
I
I'm that
want what
bitch
I
that I'm gonna
want.
tell you the truth. I'll be ready to punch you in the eye. I'm talking about him. No, I'm that
Yes,
bitch that
yes.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Not that I'm gonna put a disclaimer, not that I have poisoned anybody, but I'm that kind of bitch. Yes.
no, Miss Bookworm, were you there that year? We used to have this New Year's Day brunch every year when I lived in
Mhm.
Jersey. And
Mhm.
Bookworm, were you there that year that my husband invited some outsider? Because it's a very intimate group. It's like our closest friends would come to the
Right.
brunch.
Oh,
That's the
right,
only
right,
people
right,
that were
right,
there.
right.
But he invited this outsider from work that was a female.
I wasn't there, but I remember that.
I came to normally I show up that brunch looking like I show up to this podcast every week, looking a hot ass mess.
Right. Right.
I
I
came
remember.
down them stairs fully dressed, lip gloss on, mascara on. They was like, "What the hell?" I said, "Cause I need to make sure that bitch know." My husband was like, "She is old enough to be my mama. I don't." And he was
That's
like, "She's
not
just lonely." I said, "I don't give a
so,
Don't give a
damn.
damn.
so,
That's right.
so,
Watch them bitches.
so.
So,
All she
I
so
need,
don't give a
all she
damn."
need is an
I am a
opportunity, and
jealous.
for somebody
Mm-mm.
that's with it. And I'm too jealous for that. No, no,
All
no, no,
I
clap.
am too.
no.
I'm just saying. I like I said, I got disclaimers out there. I ain't never said I
But
gave
I'm
you a
a but
vaccine shot, but listen,
but the crazy thing is I'm jealous, but I am so flirtatious.
Oh,
I am
Right.
no.
such a flirtatious person by nature.
I
I
won't
have
do
a
that
lot of
around my
platonic friends. I
husband.
would never flirt with my platonic friends, of course, but I have a lot of
Okay.
guy friends. That I don't flirt with them, but I'm talking about out-
Like I said, I've been
random
with
people.
like I said, I've been with a lot of people that thought they were in a polygamous relationship. I just wasn't. I just wasn't. I didn't. I was unaware. Like that's like knowing that you might be the side chick kind of thing. Listen,
Shit.
I
Tell me
let me put
about it.
this out. People, you need to be upfront and honest with me, and I'm a grown ass person to make decisions for myself, and I can decide. Like if you saying, "Hey, I'm dating a couple of people," I'm not that chick that says, "Oh my God, he's dating a couple of people." That I'm going to be one of them people, and he's going to pick me. No, then you need to know on the other side in my brain. I'm saying, "Oh, you dating a couple people, so am I." Okay, so we got to figure out, okay, when we going to hook up, and I'm not going to be available for you all those times because I do have other relationships. Now, I had told V, I said, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I have a lot of guy friends. Some are platonic, some we've done the horizontal thing, um, but
Friends
we
with
good.
benefits.
Yeah, they were friends with benefits, but I
That's
mean,
what I
now
call them.
they need to know that we're friends, just friends. No benefits are happening here.
I could
I do
never be
have
friends with somebody I didn't did the
No, let me tell
horizontal
you
with.
something. I'm
I
gonna tell you
can't
something.
do
I
Oh
it.
do.
yeah,
I can't
I
do it. Y'all know
yes,
I'm a
yes,
cancer. Y'all got to remember
yeah,
yeah.
I'm a
No,
cancer.
yeah. You too much
We
about that loving
nurturers. We
thing.
too.
Nah,
Yeah, I'm
nah.
yeah.
too
No,
And I
emotionally
do,
attached if we doing the nasty.
and I do have
yeah,
some people that
no,
have the break glass in case of emergency. Yeah,
yeah. Just
because
if
you
you
gotta
got,
have them.
sometimes you just have
Yeah, that's I do. Yeah,
a
in
itch
case
that
of
needs
emergency. That's right.
scratching,
Yeah. So I do
itch
have the
that
break
needs
glass.
scratching.
You take that little hammer, break the glass in case of emergency, kind of folks. Yeah, I mean, but I'm
Shit.
single. Of course, I'm still looking for. I'm rather, excuse me. He's still looking for me. So if he's out there, let him know I'm available. But in the interim, I'm not going to be just sitting around just saying, "Oh my God," pining away for somebody. And like I said, the fools that were in the polygamous relationship and they never told me about it, and I had to find out on my own. Then things just got really wrong and ugly. That's my point.
So polygamy is not for anybody else. For anybody
Mm,
of us on this panel is basically what
no,
we saying.
no,
Listen, I don't really think AJ's in a polygamy type
I don't either.
relationship. She's just dating.
I
Yeah,
like
And
what
she's
she's
just
doing. Yeah.
she's
yeah,
just, she's just
yeah,
dating.
yeah. She's
But,
having
so
fun.
many
Yeah,
people, it is frowned upon with women, I feel like, when they're out there dating multiple men,
I do too.
Always,
you know.
Always
And
always.
so I
called
think that
names and
that's
everything.
why that topic kind of got everybody's attention like, "Oh, what's she doing?" Because if it was a man, it wouldn't even have been a topic of discussion,
Mm,
if you're being honest,
And my whole
so
thing, if you're going to talk about me dating, if you're a man doing that, then you're upset that we're not.
yeah,
And if you're a woman that is upset that I'm doing that, you're you're hating.
yeah.
You're having a jealous moment. So I
Well,
don't see what's
I don't
wrong
see no
with it.
problem. I mean, and she 50
Mm-mm.
plus. She a grown woman.
she's 60. She's like
She's
63.
60. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I
Mhm.
mean, she could do
Shit,
that.
I was doing that in my
I know I was too.
early
Listen, I mean,
20s.
I've been
I've been doing it in 20s,
I've been
30s,
strapped down
40s.
You've been
since I was
married the longest.
since
Yeah,
I think I've been with my husband since I was 18. So I ain't had
yeah,
that fun y'all done had,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if I
They've been,
was when I was in the dating world for the few minutes I was, that's always how I dated. That's how my mother taught me to date. She
yeah,
said
Hmm.
you don't
yeah,
attach
yeah,
yourself to one person unless y'all are going to be exclusive and that's your person. Other than
yeah.
that,
My grandfather
you
always
keep your
said, "Throw
feelers
that
open
fish back."
until they ready to lock you down.
My grandfather always said, "Throw that fish back. There are plenty fish in the sea." So I mean,
Hmm.
that's what you're supposed to be doing is dating. And when you're young, you should be dating
You
and not
should.
looking for this full commitment. Because are you ready? It's a maturity that has to come into play. Okay, so
Yeah. Um Yeah, good conversation. I wanted to talk about that because I've been wanting to, I feel like every time I talk about this to random people, it's always interesting to hear their take on it. Um, and for those listening, Leave us some comments in our YouTube video. Let us know what your take is on polygamy, and are you down with it? Are you down with open marriage?
Mhm.
Mm.
Mm.
Because that's different than polygamy.
And if you're a
Um,
man, are you down with it? Are you down with her having multiple men?
Mhm.
You know, are you really okay with that? I
Mhm.
want to hear this because we're talking about a man with multiple women, but let's hear about how do you feel about a woman or your wife having multiple men? You know,
mhm.
that double standard, man, that double
Mhm.
standard.
Mhm.
Yeah. So before we go to the letter, I wanted to just talk real quick about this man that went on a job interview and he left his three children at the McDonald's
Mm-hmm.
um to go on his job interview. Now the oldest was 10, the youngest I believe was 1. And he left them I think for a couple hours
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and was arrested and charged with, for leaving the children there unoccupied or whatever.
Child abandonment. Yeah.
Ah, this one is tough because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm speaking from a latchkey kid at 10 years old. I would have been able to handle my siblings. I would have handled them in in the house. I guess he felt like, okay, let me put them in McDonald's so they have something to do. I don't know why, and then he's not that far from them. Maybe I don't know, what he was thinking, but it's hard because it's like, yeah, I mean, they are young, and should a 10-year-old be responsible for two little children? Probably not. But as a latchkey kid, that part of me is like, well, I mean, I could have did it, but that don't make it right. That don't make it's tough. It's tough because he's out there trying to do what he got to do to be able to feed those kids. Um. So yeah, I'm torn on that one. But what are y'all thoughts about that? Did y'all hear about that story?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear about it. But we've seen that with a mother that had to, leave her kids at home to even go work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the fear of leaving your kids at home, somebody starting a fire or doing something that they have no business doing, trying to cook. You're right, V. We were latchkey kids probably when I was 8 or well 9, at least 9 or 10. You got a key. You would go in the house for some reason, even though guys back in the day there was no video cameras, but it seemed like your mama knew exactly what you had did before. As soon as you got in the house, she like, oh, you didn't take your uniform off. Like, damn, just how she know?
And you had to call your mama
Call your mom.
job.
That's right, and
Can
make
I
sure.
speak to so and
That's
so?
yep. Yep. Did you get home? Yeah, stay in that house, lock that house up, and don't let nobody in my house. And it seemed like she knew when something was out of place. But I will say, in this day environment, okay, I'm going to bring it to a reality. Is that people we don't have a village. The village is gone. First of all, because people don't want you to watch their kids and discipline their kids. So it's hard for people to say, "Hey, I'm going to help out." Then you got to worry about the pedophiles out there. And I'm not talking just about men. There are women pedophiles out there too, females. And so it's so many things that could go wrong. I think he thought at a McDonald's they were a little bit safer. He could probably got them some Happy Meals. They probably had the McDonald's playground, which allowed them to go out and play and do whatever. But at a 10-year-old with little ones like that, infants, is hard. Mainly a
Yeah.
1-year-old that's probably constantly crying, needs a bottle, needs to be changed. Did that 10-year-old know how to change the diaper? Did they have enough diapers? Did they understand what was going on? So I can see it from both sides, but people, we are just this society is so terrible because it's like I have nowhere to go. Probably couldn't afford to drop the kids off at daycare. Probably because they weren't going to daycare, probably needed the money, a job, so he can afford to put them in daycare. The other question is, where's the other parent? Like, we gotta be better. This is why I always say, I'm gonna keep saying it. People spend more time picking out a damn dress, picking out boots, picking out a car than they do of who they have these children by. And you have to know that if you can't depend on somebody, then what do you do? I mean, God forbid the mother might be deceased. We don't know. We don't know the circumstances. And I hope that this doesn't stop this man from getting a job, because now he's going to have a case on him. But as we all remember, we have somebody with 34 felonies in the office of presidency, but these other people still
Boom.
don't get the same treatment. And so I hope this all works out for him. I hope that, the village comes along and does help out. On a side note, I saw that with the Chick-fil-A thing when the girl only got $1,000 scholarship, and the 8.5 by 11s got $2,500. And our community came around, and I think they raised almost over $13,000 so far, that she needed 25,000. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so we need to tap. Yeah, it was from Chick-fil-A, and they only gave
Hmm.
her 1,000. And the question is, why didn't she get the 2,500 like the other kids?
Right.
So I mean, but I'm just saying that, unfortunately, sir, call in the community, try to see what you can do, try to find out about programs, and we need to stop being so embarrassed about our situations, because we don't know that you needed that help. And sometimes you just need to go out and ask somebody. That's my commentary.
So to give further detail on this, it's this poor kid. I feel so bad for him. He's 24,
Mm,
and so which means he had the 10-year-old at age 14.
14. Mhm,
So basically, he was a kid raising a kid.
mhm, mhm,
I commend him at such a young age, but he was smart enough, if you want to call it that, to bring them to one, a public place. Two, it was a public place that the 1 year old could be occupied with playing in. Have you ever tried to take a 1 year old out of a play place?
mhm,
It's meltdown city. So another thing was he had to walk. The job interview was in walking distance. And I so the details are a little sketchy because some people claim that he came back and forth to check on them, but that didn't sound right. I do know that once the police took him into the custody, the mom arrived to pick them up there too. So the mom was around. So there's a lot of missing pieces. However, this if this man had to walk to go to a job interview, I'm just glad he had the wherewithal to take those children to a safer place. And that was all he could think of because for one, it was free.
mhm,
Two, you feed them and let them play, and you're good to go. I guarantee you that 10-year-old takes very good care of that 1 year
mhm.
old.
Of course.
Diaper, all of that, changing, all of that. Um, I was a latchkey kid for 2 years in grades first and second, 6 and 7 years old. So both
Wow.
of my parents worked. My grandparents were working. There was absolutely no one to watch us. It just was how it was. And there was a few stay-at-home moms on the streets, but they had their group of kids. So at least, it only lasted 2 years, but well, it was myself, just myself. I had to come in the house. And back then, my father was working he was a laborer, he was a forklift driver. So there was no office to call him. He had to call me. And I just wasn't allowed to pick up the phone. He called, he hung up. I counted to 10. He
Mhm,
counted to 10. He called again. I
mhm,
knew to pick up. It was him. You're home? Yes. All right, everything's good. You locked the door. I wasn't even responsible for letting the dog out. The dog didn't get let out until somebody else came home. So, we had put the deadbolts on. We did all of
mhm,
that, and we just had to trust. I sat down, I watched my cartoons, I ate my snack, and that was it. You don't answer the phone, you don't answer the door. Matter of fact, you sit in the kitchen until now. My father lived 5 minutes away, But my mother lived a little further. I mean, I'm sorry, my mother worked a little further, but she worked for BCAT, which Head Start. I'm sorry, Head Start. Well, there were times that some of the kids weren't picked up on time. So my mother wasn't getting home until well after 6 o'clock sometimes,
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be. So those types of things, you just do what you have to do. Now, there's no way in holy hell I would have left either one of my children home at age 6 or 7. I think we ran around the corner. I was just so shook up at that time that we ran around the corner to the store. I was like, I'm never doing that again. We got to wait a little longer. But,
Mhm.
I could have never, but that times are different. And, he is in jail, he is incarcerated. I'm hoping that somebody helps. I'm hoping his story gets out there and somebody helps somehow, some way. If there's a bond for him to get out and give this brother a job, because now it's going to be harder for him to get a job now that he has this record.
Mhm.
And all he was doing was just walking to a job interview. I mean, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough one. But all right, ladies, let's go ahead and start digging into our laundry bag. What
And
we
this is
got
from.
going on weekday.
Oh damn! Let me pull up this letter. Sometimes I gotta find it. It's
Who wrote it?
always
Neo?
he.
Neo or one of his women?
Girl, I don't know. Um, the letter is kind of. I'm not gonna call it dirty laundry because it really is just. It's reality for a lot of people. I will say
Oh
that.
yeah.
So I'm going to start off by saying that give grace when we can. I don't know if I will, but I'm going to try, right? So the letter is called "The Clock is Ticking." Okay. It's a short letter. It says, Aunties, I need some guidance on how to handle this situation. I've been in a relationship for 7 years with the man I want to marry. I'm 39 year old and he is 40. Neither one of us has any children. We do not live together. He has his own place, but not a car. I have my own place and an automobile. We met each other's parents. His mom and dad invites me to every family function, and we have traveled together as a couple. The relationship is drama free, but he has yet to ask me to marry him. He keeps saying he is trying to get his career off the ground. Currently, he's working as a customer service job, she said. He's trying to get on the management track. He told me he needs to make more money to buy a car, but he has not said anything about getting married. I'm afraid I'm wasting my time and energy. I feel that my childbearing years have slipped away, but I know that he is the one. Do you think I should move on or give him an ultimatum? I want to get married and settle down. I'm tired of waiting. Okay. Okay. So earlier, if you heard me say, um, and I'm going to say what Tina best said. Tina said it best. What does love got to do with shit? Um, we make decisions around that word a lot, right? I love something, so I buy it. But did you need it? Was it expensive? But you loved it enough to buy it. Do you even wear it? Do you use it? Um, and that's how I feel about some of these relationships, right? We love something and we can love it to death. But do we see what the potential is? So to me, signs are very clear. You're 7 years into a relationship with this young man. No, he's not going to marry you. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Nah, girl, and don't wait until he gets to the point where he's ready to go into one of those facilities and he needs you to wipe the slobber off his mouth. He's not going to marry you. Um, I'm going to tell you why. Because when somebody really is understanding what this is about, because this is not about getting married. I keep trying to tell people this is not about getting married. This is about building together. So if he's trying to get on track with his career, then you can help him build that. Y'all can build that together. Y'all can help each other out. We need to stop thinking of relationships like, oh, I just love him. He's my one. No, there is parts of you that as you become one, y'all are a team.
I get the second.
Okay. So teamwork is what makes the dream work,
Hmm.
right? And stop thinking about it as the physical, because his family loves you don't mean he loves you. They just going along because they say, oh, she seems nice. Hey, I think she could be the one, because they think you're the one. He might not think you're the one. When he's ready to settle down and really be firmly into this relationship, there would never be questions that you would be hearing about his career, him getting a car. Really? A car is so important when y'all have been together for 7 years. He is wasting your time. You're letting your childbearing years go. Um, and we know eggs are high. I'm going to leave it like that for you to think about. Okay. Eggs are high. Okay. I think you need to move on. I don't think an ultimatum is needed. That
Mm-mm.
ultimatum should have started out, and I do believe what a lot of people say, men tell you who they are. They really are not that deep. It's not a puzzle with them. The mere fact that he says, I'm focused on my career, says, I'm not focused on us. And that's how you got to take this. I'm worried about getting a car. He didn't say, I'm worried about getting your ring. So, and even if he didn't get you a ring, would you just marry him if he just gave you, let's go to justice, peace, and get married? Because that's what we got to think about, ladies, is that, are we worried about the material things that go behind what you think a marriage should be? Or are we concerned about, I want to be with that person. I think we can build together. I think we could be successful together. I think that we could build a family together and we could be cohesive together. So if you're always thinking about the ring, the wedding, then guess what? You might be want to take a back seat to think about what the marriage really is going to be about. So that's my commentary. Let this go. Move on. And eggs are high. So keep that in the back of your mind as you move forward in your next relationship. Miss Bookworm.
Um, she, there's nothing else for me to advise you to do except for you to now look into freezing your eggs because you are 39. So I would just go and freeze your eggs. Look into the process of that now. He has his own place. You have your own place. Neither one of you have children. I don't understand why this can't be a clean break. You said that you go to all the family functions and all of that, but you need to have a conversation and say, by all means, uh, the past 7 years has been great. Tell his family the past 7 years has been great, but please do not invite me to anything else that he will be in attendance to. Now, if you guys want to go have brunch and he is not a conversation or whatever, that's fine if you want to meet for coffee, because I'm pretty sure after 7 years, she did build a relationship with his family. And that kind of friendship is not easy to let go, especially when it was nothing that they did. This is all between you and him. So it's a shame that it had to come to this, but I would just, have a conversation over dinner or over the phone. However, you need to do it, you need to get this Jane Doe letter written. John Doe, Jane Doe, whatever. But you have to have this conversation. You have to do whatever you have to do, but you need to move on. And in but when you do that, be prepared for him to now scramble, him to now show up with a ring, him to now talk about, oh, we can get married, we can get married. No, no, honey. because when you start to leave is when they start to miss, and when they start to miss they start to realize, and when they start to realize they want to start making moves, and when they want to start making moves, those moves aren't authentic. Those moves came as a reaction to your action. So none of his moves will be genuine. None of his moves will be authentic. So be prepared for that and be strong enough to say, no, you had 7 years to work this out, to do it. How come we could not build your career together? How come we could not have sold one of our places, moved in together, gotten married, had one car? There was so much that they could do economically, being married, if that was in his plan. Obviously, it was not. He wasted, I would not say 7 years. I would say about five.
5. Mhm.
Maybe, I honestly think he wasted 5 years, because it takes 2 to 3 to know if you're going to want to really spend the rest of your life with this person and be exclusive and cohabitate and all of that. The fact that the two of you don't live together after 7 years, come on, you saw the writing on the wall, I think about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. You made it through the pandemic and you still aren't married. No, I just think you need to cut your losses and move on. There seems to, I hope you two don't have a bank account together or whatever, because he's trying to build his career. Just move on, cut your losses. Just cut your losses, go freeze your eggs, and begin living life as a single woman until you no longer are.
Yeah, so I agree it's been 7 years. Um I think you should move on. He has made y'all have not made any progress as far as cohabitating, talking about marriage, getting closer. I mean, if he want a car, y'all move in together.
There's your
I
car
mean,
right
seven.
there.
Mhm.
You got one rent or mortgage or whatever, but I'm kind of glad you didn't move in because it makes for a cleaner break. I think what's important here though is that moving forward, you focus on dating with intention. If you are certain that you want to be married, when you get into a relationship, don't do an AJ Johnson, okay? I mean, you date around, but
Mhm.
you need to be intentional about your dating, and you need to make sure that when you're dating, that is one of the first questions you ask.
Mhm.
What are your intentions? Are you trying to be married? When do you want to be married by? Do you see yourself with children? Those are the types of questions you need to be asking. And if they're like, nah, I'm just chilling, don't waste your time. Because you ain't got
Mhm.
no time to waste. You trying to have children, you trying to get married, you 40, 39 years old, you have to date with intention and you have to ask the right questions. And I'm sorry, 7 years. I mean, that's seven. What's that? That's a 7 year itch. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah,
y'all,
yeah,
nah, he's not. He's not ready to be in a committed relationship, and that's concerning because he's 40 years old.
right.
Like, dude, what are you waiting on?
Mhm.
So that tells me that you're not his person. You're
Mhm.
not the one. And he's content and he's happy with what y'all are doing, which would be cool if that's what you wanted too. But you want to be married and you want to have children and the white picket fence and all that good stuff. So yeah, you're gonna have to let him go. And moving forward, you got to date with intention and be true and honest to yourself. If somebody says to you, "Yeah, that's the same path I'm on," and you a year in and you don't see no talks about nothing, you need to bow
Move
out
on. Yeah.
because they done lied to you.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Fully agree.
Pretty much.
So, all right, let's wrap this up, ladies. Um, so I'm sorry, I'm getting text messages left and right, and they're in my ear.
And they don't they
The
scare you,
block
right?
is
You be
hot.
like
The
this.
block is hot.
Who texted her? Is she in a polyamorous relationship? What we want to know.
Woo.
I got one of my platonic male friends together. I got my family texting me. I'm like, yo, hold up, hold up, hold up. Everybody must be it must be that time of the night where everybody on their
Hmm.
phone. So anyway,
Yup.
let's wrap this
Yup.
up. Thank you, ladies, for for the conversation tonight. I've been wanting to talk about this poly stuff.
Yeah, we
I know it's
finally
just
got it
interesting. I
out.
know it's just always interesting to me how how different some people move in relationships, and
Yeah.
from what I do. But it's always
Mm-mm.
interesting. But if you have a question that you want us to answer, an issue that you got going on, and you need some auntie advice, hit us up at 3auntiesandamic@gmail.com, or send us a DM on one of our social media platforms at 3aunties and a mic. The three is spelled out THREE. Um, and like us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Like us on your favorite streaming platform so that you don't miss a single episode of our podcast. Like and follow us on YouTube. Leave some comments, y'all. We comment back. And until next time, ladies, peace and love.
Love you, nieces and nephews.
Smooches.